W turn G. Shit. Look, we got one right here for you, boy. Look, this I will never. It's that beard, that goatee. That shit just looks. I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Look. So as I'm reading these, I'm going down right. Okay, they got Enver released from prison. Nikolay released from prison. Dimitri early released from prison. Right. So I'm like, man, what the fuck going on? These niggas getting locked up in fucking Russian prison. Right. This ain't just jail. This is Russian prison. Right. Okay. So. Look, I'm gonna just skim through this here real quick, right? Because I want to read this. In prison for their faith. I need to know why these niggas got locked up, because that's crazy. Okay? But, look, okay. Sentenced to 3 years, September 14, 23. Okay? Now, I got a serious ass question for y'all. That boy took a selfie before prison. Okay. This is a serious ass question. Because, look, they got his whole shit that he done went through and everything. And we finna read and see what the fuck on this one, what actually happened. But this is a question that I have for y'all. Because, look, he says, in my case, Jehovah has become a God of comfort and peace, and he has allowed me to look at my circumstances positively. Okay. The question is it brainwashing or manipulation to look at being in prison as a positive thing from God? Why would God have him locked up in prison? And look, if we go back here, it says, before his arrest, Nikolay was diagnosed with a tumor. Additionally, he suffers from chronic headaches due to a previous head injury. The poor condition he faced while detained and lack of medical assistance led to further decline in his health. Now that he's released, Nikolay will be able to receive the medical treatment he requires. Okay, so I looked at my circumstances positively. Is that brainwashing? Is that manipulation? Like to get somebody to be locked up in a prison, but to be happy or to look at it positively? Like, I know you got to do what you got to do to like get through the experience, but he didn't even have to be in there in the first place. Right? And that I really don't understand it. Look, I'm gonna read this. Because I need to know why these niggas got locked up. Clearly it's for their faith. The history of Jehovah's Witnesses in modern day Russia is an account of oppression and persecution. For much of the 20th century, Russian authorities abused and mistreated the witnesses, although they were known to be peaceful, law-abiding citizens. The aim of the government of the Soviet Union was to coerce them into accepting Soviet ideology. They were forbidden to possess Bibles or religious literature. They were under constant surveillance and had to hold their religious meetings in secret. If discovered, they were subjected to beatings and long prison sentences. The government exiled thousands in Siberia. Okay, so it says, the aim of the government of the Soviet Union was to coerce them into accepting Soviet ideology. So they're just doing what the Jehovah's Witnesses are doing, but they're just doing it they're in a harmful way. Right? The Jehovah's Witnesses are brainwashing and manipulating in a way that you don't even know what's happening. It says that began to change in 1991 when the Russian government granted legal recognition to Jehovah's Witnesses and allowed freedom of worship without interference from the authorities. However, that period of peace did not last long. In 2009, opposition and restrictions began to escalate when the Russian Supreme Court upheld the decision of a lower court to label a congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses as extremists. And this is what religion does. If you want a personal relationship with God, why do you have to join an organization? Should it not be personal? Like, nigga. Fuck, okay. Shit. Hello?
Domino's Pizza. We're calling to let you know that the Domino's driver just left the store with your order.
Oh, bad. Okay. Anyway, after years of legal battles in April 2017, the Supreme Russian Court ruled to liquidate the witnesses' legal entities for alleged extremist activity. Immediately, the Russian authorities took steps to confiscate their property, close down their places of worship, and declare their religious literature to be extremist material. Which, I mean... oh, man, but it's like just the idea of religion. Just the fact that it separates people, it puts you in a group. What does it have to do with God specifically? You can have a relationship with God if he's real or whatever. I don't know, and I would love to know. I'm trying. I'm trying. Not stopping with their attack against the witnesses' legal entities, Russian authorities have chosen to target Jehovah's Witnesses individually. Overreaching, they associate private worship of individual witnesses with the banned organization. Police raids of the witnesses' homes bring abusive treatment with harsh interrogation. Both male and female witnesses of all ages have been arrested, convicted, and sentenced to prison or house arrest. Since April 2017 ban, hundreds of witnesses have been sentenced to pre-trial detention or imprisonment under the charge of extremism. As of April 17, 25, a total of 156 witnesses are in prison. So, like, I didn't know this was this much. What? Nigga, they're going to prison for this. Am I tripping? Like, what the fuck is actually happening, yo? Like, this is so crazy to me. And then they have all these articles on some shit that be going down. Like, all for being a witness? I'm confused. I really... I don't know. Y'all tell me.